Okay, wait till you see this dryer discharge. You won't believe what we're going to find here on the exterior. At first it looks normal going to the exterior. Look at this vent. It is completely clogged with lint. That is called a critter guard. That's for wildlife protection and entry. It's not for dryers. It has completely clogged up the lint exchange. Look at that. There's no opening at all. Maybe a tiny little hole. It's not drying at all. The real risk of this kind of problem is a fire hazard, and your dryer will run much longer, use more electricity, costing you more than your energy bill. Wait a minute, we have an electrical concern here. Look at this. Open the window and right there, stop. Don't do it. That's the electric wire entering the house. That's the entrance cable. Lots of electricity. The building electrical code says no electric cables within 3 foot of opening windows. Do you have small dimples in your walls? And I'm not talking large holes or full-on drywall repair, just little dimples. You want fast dry spackle. This stuff is great. You don't need much prep at all. Any kind of small utility knife, and you're just going to smear it on. And as it smooths out, it is filling all those holes. It will be dry and ready to paint within 30 minutes. If you have drywall anywhere near your shower heads, you may have water damage above. Look at this. Beautiful tile installed above a fiberglass shower surround. This can be a homeowner project you can take on yourself. This is much improved, and this will help your tub surround last many, many more years. But the code does allow a 15 amp receptacle on a 20 amp circuit. It is completely safe, completely safe. There is no... How much can you expect to pay for a water heater? This water heater is leaking and is beyond hope. Look at the bottom. It has water running out of it. Time to replace, time to give up on it. It's 20 years old. Okay, in the Midwest here, if you buy a 40-gallon electric or natural gas water heater, you're looking at least $600 if you do it yourself. If you hire a plumber, you're looking at least double that, or $1,200. The plumber will take the old one away, so there's some advantage there. It can be significantly higher if you have a powered vent unit or any other change, or if you have an on-demand unit, you are looking north of $2,000 to $4,000 for tankless on-demand water heaters. Okay, I'm not making fun of this homeowner, I promise, but look at this. This is a water alarm, and it's sitting on top of the water heater. I had a good laugh about this. It will do absolutely nothing up there sitting on top. You see those probes? That's what contacts and shows that there is water present and will alarm that you have a flood or water situation. That has to be down here at the bottom of the water heater. There you go. That's where you want it, at the bottom of the water heater, to catch any flooding accidents. One of the first things your builder will do on site is clear the topsoil. That topsoil has no value during the building process, so a bulldozer or other earth-moving equipment will push off the topsoil. The depth is different depending on your local situation. There it is there, the topsoil. So you need your exposed structural soil underneath. That's where footers and foundations can be poured and worked on. That is the structural soil there. Okay, way in the back, they will push off the topsoil. Likely huge mounds of topsoil will build up, and they'll store that and save that for later. Look at all this water damage and rot on this deck. This is pretty extensive. It is falling apart. This whole deck is falling apart due to water deterioration. And that deck down there, that huge deck down there, it's all rotting and falling apart. And that deck over there, this is massive water damage. These 3 huge decks on this house will cost a ton of money to replace, possibly $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I'd rather send my kid to college than pay for all this mess. When you're draining your pool down for the season, don't flood your backyard out. Look at these simple extension hoses you can buy for $10 to $15 to direct the water flow anywhere in your yard you need to. Have you heard of a mini pry bar? Removing tack strips sometimes is very difficult. You can't really get in there without banging up the baseboard trim. Mini pry bars, you can get right under those nails, tap it in, and it just lifts right up. The quicker you can keep the tack strip in long strips, the faster they will remove. Love mini pry bars. Do you need to take the time to mask everything off with painter's tape before starting? That takes time. You can save time with a 2-inch angle sash brush and pull the paint along the straight edge. Okay, now With a steady hand and a nice angle brush, you can get just as a straight line as with tape. For a grand total of, this is the actual cost of the materials, $3,990, or let's just round it to $4,000. So if you donate the labor, if you do it yourself, you can do a complete bathroom renovation for $4,000. Will sanitizer remove paint stains on carpet? Look at this. Look at this. Let's give it a try. Get a lot of it on there, work it in. Seems to be loosening it up. Let's blot it out. It's been sitting there for about 15 minutes. We caught it late. It did work. Okay, let's try this one. This is a bigger spot. It's been on there for about 15 minutes. It seems to have enough alcohol in there that it loosens it right up. Look at that. Sanitizer on carpeting removes paint. Hey, in my over 2 decades of experience as a builder, I've seen this too many times. This is a fire hazard just waiting to occur. You cannot have open electrical wire splices. They always must be enclosed in a junction. Reposition it. These flexible ones will help you with a lot of problems, such as if your floor is built up too thick, if your floor is somewhat unlevel, if your closet flange toilet has a little crack in it. I live in a somewhat cold climate, and most of the attics that we look at have woefully low insulation. This one is impressive. Look at that, 18 to 19 inches of blown-in fiberglass insulation. That is impressive. Look at this entire attic. It is filled nicely with insulation. And in the front and the rear, they have these black soffit baffles. There they are right there. That allows fresh air in through the soffit vents and to vent up at the top ridge vent opening on the roof. Good job. If you're having a new house built, do not use these flexible air ducts. They are very low quality. They are literally made of plastic, guys. Ask your builder to install proper metal air ducts. This is what they look like up close. Look at it. It can get pinched and the airflow is restricted so easily. Look at that. That's not going to be comfortable. They actually are attached to each other with just plastic zip ties. Look at that, plastic zip ties. The real problem is you cannot have these air ducts cleaned in the future. They are so cheaply and poorly made, you cannot have them professionally cleaned. If you called an air duct cleaning company, their equipment would just rip this stuff to shreds. Ask your builder or HVAC contractor to install proper metal air ducts in your house. You will not regret it. Okay, this was a new one on me. This is the back of a rental duplex house. Look at this. The electric meter has been ripped off the back of this house. Somebody has ripped off the panel, threw the electric meter on the ground. Look, they cut the safety clip, threw the electric meter on the ground, and now they have shoved metal conductor plates in there. Can you see that they've completed the circuit? So they are stealing power from the utility company. What's worse than that is this is a major electrocution hazard if a child or somebody was to reach in there. If you see animal droppings by your house, you want to look at it closely. This happens to be bat droppings. They are slightly chunkier and larger than mice. This is bat guano, bat droppings. You want to look up above where they are coming from or hiding or nesting or living. Up there, the soffit gap and the vinyl trim have large gaps where the bat is sneaking in. Okay, your outside AC condenser should have conduit at the electrical wiring. Look at this unprotected electrical wiring. You want watertight conduit over it. This is what it looks like. And then also at the house side, you want a disconnect box. And this is what that looks like. Some kind of disconnect safety means so it can be removed for electrical and serviced. If you have a fieldstone foundation, this is what you want. Nice, consistent, even wall. Mortar is solid. The wall is solid. No big holes in it. No loose areas. As opposed to this. Look at this mess over here. That is loose stone. Huge holes, huge gaps, rubble pile. The mortar is literally falling out. That is holding up your house. It needs immediate repair. Have you seen some of the claims on the internet about WD-40 and what it can do? Call me a little bit skeptical. I think we should put it to the test. Cleans stainless steel. This dirty refrigerator is coated with kids' fingerprints. Okay, now when it comes up, again, you want to make sure the ground is not going to cave in on your hole. Um, so you just pull it up slowly, make sure the ground is slightly damp so it holds its shape. Now don't worry if you feel like you've messed up or need to start over. Simply remove the battery cover here and there is a reset button right there. Use something small, hold on that reset and it will go back to original factory settings. Your Amazon keyless entry is now installed. It is working perfectly. Congrats. Now, if you look in between your glass window panes and you see rust in the metal, look at that rust in the metal. There is metal separators between your thermal pane glass. If you see rust in there, that means there's a crack somewhere. Oxygen is getting in there, moisture is getting in there. This one is obvious that it's cracked and broken, but yours may not be so obvious. Now over to the inside, when you open your thermal pane window and look, there is a gasket there that can be removed. This is a plastic vinyl strip that can be popped out and you can order a new thermal pane glass window and insert it and you are good to go. You can do it yourself. Okay, you got to look at this one. This is electrical wire over the house, and it is in direct contact with the roof. Look at that right there. That electrical wire is laying on the roof. Over time, this will wear a bare spot into the shingle, and the metal drip edge could even cut the wire and short out and even start a house fire. Call the utility company to correct this situation. When was the last time you checked your furnace mounted humidifier? If it's been more than 1 year, it's too long. They are simple. You literally just take off the cover, check the water pad. If it's nasty and disgusting and growing mold, time to replace it. Those water pads can be replaced yourself for like 10 bucks. They're really easy to do. They just snap out of there. Simple design, the water drizzles over the top. Over time, the pad will get used and worn. Put the cover plate back on and you're good to go. The air blows across it. Over here, the humidistat is mounted by the furnace. Sometimes the humidistats are mounted by the thermostat in the house. Today we are in a house that is not very old at all, and look, I start to see these black marks up there. What is that? It's actually original rot where the tree was rotted out. Look at this. You have 50% pieces of wood missing up there. Guys, whenever you're building a project or a house, you can reject any wood that is not satisfactory. You do not have to use it. Normally, when you're under a bathroom sink, it is 1¼ inch drain pipe. Look at this. They elected to upgrade to 1½ inch drain pipe, PVC glued together, solvent welded. I think it's a good idea. I think you have nice, smooth drains, extra water flow. The only disadvantage is difficult to work on if you have to open the drain trap and remove something.